let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. It's your boy, Ra1, and this is Sparking Conversation, and y'all know what I do each and every week. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people, and tonight I'm going to do the same thing. But before we get into that, y'all know I got to do like I do each and every week. I got to thank all the people that download the audio version of this platform. Y'all the real MVPs. I keep telling all of my fellow content creators that's doing podcasting, like, listen, this visual part, that is a part, but that's not the main part of your podcast. You have to be able to distribute your audio, right? Podcasts on Apple, Amazon, all the places that people download audio versions of podcasts. And I want you all to keep in mind, don't ever look at your podcast or your platform or the audio version as if it's something that people will not listen to. They just want to watch. That's not true. Because remember, there are millions and millions of books being sold each and every day. So somebody is consuming the information in the books, whether it's in the audio version or they're reading themselves, but they're not watching the book. You get what I'm saying? So that ought to let you know that there's an audience out here for you and for what you have to say. You have to be authentic in your podcast and your platform and just be able to be everywhere that other people are. It doesn't matter. They got people who are number one in the podcast area in different categories, and then they got some of those who are not. Either way it goes, the only way for you to be in the game is to be in the game, right? So all of you guys out there, if you don't or if you haven't been distributing your audio, please click the link in the description, RSS feeds, and start today. Don't waste no time. I don't care how many episodes you already have. You can take all those episodes, download the audio version, and upload the audio version instantly to all of these places, all right? Click the link in the description, and you can get to that. So double shout out to everybody who download the audio version. I definitely appreciate y'all. All right, let's get into a few things, y'all, because I do have my guests, right? So, we don't wait, we create. Y'all know the vibes, man. Saturday, August 22nd, we got Vincent M. Ward from The Walking Dead will be in the building, chopping it up with all of you content creators, you filmmakers, actors, actresses. He is not just somebody that has done movies. Just because we talk about The Walking Dead, we know The Walking Dead is no longer active right now, but the reruns and everything is out there. But this guy is part of that 3%. And what I'm saying about that 3% is that our 3% of Hollywood, out of all the actors y'all know, only 3% of them are actually working. He's part of that 3%. So you want to find out exactly what's going on, all right? Make sure that y'all check everything out. And for all of y'all that's watching right now, if you see this QR code that's up here, the reason why it's up here is because the platform, if y'all want to support the platform, it's there, you can. And I'm saying that because I only do real stories on this platform. Right? So my stories and things like that, when it comes to social media, a lot of times it gets suppressed. A lot of times, it's not suggested to new listeners and viewers because of the information that's being told. I just put up some clips today of the guy that did the story about the occupation of Haiti. And, anytime it comes to something like that, whenever it comes down to people actually wanting to learn something about history and it makes it look like, the people that are in charge or whatever is super foul, of course, they run these things too, right? They run these social media apps. They run all that. So you can do all the things. You can have the most high quality, everything, but it's the message sometimes, and I know a lot of y'all out there want to get your message out. So if you want to support, that QR code is right there. You can scan it, you can donate, or if you're on Facebook right now, you can also send stars and move it around, right? Because that's what it do. Or you could do this for free. All you gotta do is share, like, and comment. That's it. And you can move this around. What we gotta do is show that people want to hear the information, although I'm doing over 100,000 views a month. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying that everything is not getting where it need to go. It's just that the most of it is going to get blocked when it's a serious conversation and a serious topic. So there it go. Y'all know the vibes, man. If you want to support, it's there for y'all, and I will appreciate it. Okay? All right. Outside of that, we do want all of you guys out there to take care of yourself, right? Health is wealth. Remember that. Health is wealth. So for any of you out there that watch me, y'all know I say this each and every week. Please look up the effects of parasites. The effects of parasites in the human body. See if any of these symptoms are things that you may be dealing with, because so often people have been telling you all your life is your family, it's your genetics and all that other stuff, when really it's not that, it's what you eat. And that's really what the main thing is. And sometimes these things that we eat and places that we go, there are things in them that you guys don't know, right? And it gets into your body and it lives there and it takes over your body. Remember, it's so much information out there on possession, right? People talk about spiritual possession and people being possessed by entities and different things like that. Well, why won't y'all understand that that's the same concept when it comes to parasites, that you are being infested by an entity that don't belong in your body? So if you guys do the research, figure it out, then click the link in the description, get the parasite detox, do the information on what's in this in the parasite detox, so you can understand what you put in your body to get what's in your body out your body, right? Make sure y'all do that. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Um, Outside of that, y'all know we got the content dropping each and every week, so we got new content out there. We also have Amber Dirksen is going to be at We Don't Wait, We Create. You know what I mean? She's going to be there covering the event. We got Yessie Rodriguez going to be in the building with Slater Scene Acting Academy for all of you actors and actresses out there that need to sharpen your toolkit. She will be there, so you guys can come and chop it up with her. We also got Don Monroe, who be in the building, a talent manager for models and people that's in the fashion and all these other things. He has a lot of celebrity clients and the whole nine. But here's the thing: for all y'all out there that don't want to be doing this as a hobby, for you models out there, if you don't want to do it as a hobby and you want to turn it into some profit, y'all know the vibes. Be in the building. He will be there. But it's plenty more to come. Okay, I want y'all to know we got other guests that's coming, media coverage and different things like that. So you want to be in the building, make sure y'all get y'all tickets. All right, the information is on the flyer everywhere. Y'all see me, y'all know, y'all could get it. thecollectiveevents.net is where you get your tickets. So make sure if you're in the industry and you in North Carolina or the surrounding areas, Virginia, South Carolina, you want to be in the building. All right. Okay. With all that being said, we're going to stop right there because I'm going to get into my rant real quick because it's a lot going on. And I know a lot of y'all guys have reached out to me asking me, am I going to speak on a couple of topics today? And y'all know I have to do that because that's the reason why this platform exists, because not only do my guests interact, but the audience interacts as well too. And I'm thankful that you guys even reach out to me and ask me these questions or want to know my opinion. So I'm going to do that for y'all in a second. All right. So look, let's get into that real quick because I do have to bring my guest up. So it's two big things going in the news right now that I'm noticing, right? So we got Nolan Wells, right? The young kid who on 4th of July went out on the boat with his friends and he didn't make it back. And right now it's on every news station, it's on every social media platform. I don't care how many times you open up your phone, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. And so here's a couple of ways I want to look at it because I know y'all wanted to know what I think about it, right? Because I talk often about the way that people are setting up this racial war in America. Now, we understand that it's been a lot of tension between races in America for a really long time. But then there came a time where it wasn't so much because, different generations started to understand different things when it came to people, right? And then we also got to remember the United States is full of immigrants, right? A lot of people that migrate over to this country. And in the last 15, 20 years or so, there has been an influx of people coming from other countries, right? And then their preconceived notions of those that are already here, especially people who look like me. When they get here, they find out that we're nothing like the images and the things that they say. Yeah, it's a remnant of us, but it's a remnant of everybody like that. You know what I mean? No matter where you go, there's not a continent or a country that don't have a prison. So whenever you guys think about there's something negative or people negative, it everywhere, right? But for some reason, when it comes to America, they tell everybody outside of America to don't rock with us. And this is the thing. We got this situation going on with Nolan that there's still, again, it was the same thing that went on in South Carolina and all of these other things. When there is some type of death involving people who look like me and then got something to do with people who are Caucasian or look that way, it's automatically going to rise and bring tensions, and everybody's going to automatically revert back to whatever's been going on, to everything that we've been dealing with in this country with injustices, right? But the thing is, though, we also got to remember we can't be so quick to judge. It's so easy for us to look at a picture and just say what it is instead of understanding the perception or what the artist wanted you to get out of it, right? When it comes down to whatever's happening, because there's not really a lot of information, we getting new news coming out now that it may have been involved a girl, and there was drinking involved and all that other stuff. But I understand that, but there's no way that one person and the only person that didn't make it back was him. It doesn't make sense. Another thing that doesn't make sense is before the investigation even got started, the other three guys that was with them or in the picture or whose boat that they were taking out already had lawyers. And then one of the kids' stepmom is a judge who deactivated her social media account and all these other things. So my thing is that if it really was an accident, because now they're coming out with these reports now saying that it had to be an accident. He didn't want to get on the boat. He wanted to stay and all of this other stuff. I don't know, right? None of us know. One thing that we do know is the autopsy report is not out yet. We don't know if he had water in his lungs. We don't know if he drowned. We don't know what the cause of death is right now, right? But we just know that he's unalive. But we don't know why. We don't know how. And we know that there's a bunch of people who know how and know why. But right now, you're not able to get to them at all unless you go through the attorneys, it seems like. And then they do have a young lady that's talking, and she didn't lawyer up, and she's talking and she's giving out information, but they're not giving that information out to us. So what I want to say is that although everything doesn't look good for little man, right? It doesn't look like it was a good scenario. It was the worst 4th of July ever for that family. And that's what people need to understand. It's not so much whether you want to believe it was white versus black and all this other corny shit that they keep trying to push down our throat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me personally, I know, like, people are always going to say anything they can to get a rise or to get into their own bag about their own feelings about whoever the person is or whoever people are. But me personally, I can't do that. And having this platform, we can't always react in anger and always want to point the blame based on somebody on color. Now, can we honestly say that no matter what color this kid was, that it should not have been with he, the only one that didn't make it back? I'm trying to help y'all understand. It doesn't matter who the players are in the game. The game is still the game. And either way, he should not have been the only one that didn't make it back. Although he was the only one that was considered to be African American, black, whatever they want to call us, right? So I'm saying to all of y'all out there, until we get all the information, and yes, it looks like people are covering it up and cleaning it up already. It do look like that, right? And then when it come down to it, y'all, we understand that that's how it go down out here, right? It do look like that, but at the end of the day, we still don't have all the details to make a real decision. But outside of everybody that has an opinion, it don't matter. What matters is that them parents, their child are never gonna come back. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if they had other children, but if they did not, and that was their only child, then they will never have a grandchild. Sometimes y'all gotta look past the little things that y'all see in the front and really understand the devastation that these parents must be going through. We said the same thing about Carmelo Anthony. We look, listen. Out of all the things that happened, both of them lost their life. One literally, and the other one may be in jail for the rest of his life. But the young man that lost his life, his parents, whoever that is, they got to deal with the fact that their child is not here no more. Yes, they was twins, and they got another one. But every time they look at him, it's going to be a reminder of their child that's not here. Listen, y'all, you can never replace your child, no matter how many children you have or don't have. You can never replace the child. None of them. It's always going to affect you. And I'm sad that that's the thing that we're missing out here is that, this family, like, look, we shouldn't be online coming up with all these different scenarios, ready to go to war, battle all over these other things without having all the details. Because at the end of the day, that family, no matter what happens to anybody that did the foul play, or if he did it to himself, guess what? He ain't coming back. And that family going to have to deal with that for the rest of their life. Now, can you imagine how every year after this, when 4th of July pops up, what that's going to do to them? Can y'all imagine that? Now we looking at Juneteenth and looking at 4th of July. We looking at 4th of July, 250 years of America being free from Britain. Whenever that did happen 250 years ago, people who look like me were still slaves. They wasn't free. They didn't get their freedom. And then we talk about Juneteenth, and then that's when you got your freedom in America from America when you was already here. So what I'm saying to y'all, like, look, we got all these different things that every time it come up, it's going to remind us. Just like St. Patrick's Day, we out here talking about St. Patrick's Day, but when you break down what happened with St. Patrick, he wasn't killing no literal snakes. It was all black people. He was massacring, or people who look like me, whatever. We ain't black, brown, whatever. Right? When you really break it down and get to the bottom of it, wasn't no literal snakes that he was getting out of there. It was us that they was calling snakes. But people celebrate that all the time. Right? They getting beer and they doing all this other stuff. Everybody's wearing green. All this other stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Not even knowing the real history of how these things even come about. But now 4th of July will forever be not just the day fireworks go off, but it'll forever be the day that these people or these that they lost their child. So y'all think about that, right? And then when we talk about the big ticket, I'm only going to speak on this for a second because I got to guess, and we got to get into this because we want to make sure that y'all understand how you can make money online by using your content and by being who you are, your own personal brand. But with the big ticket thing that's going on, they talk about him and, domestic violence and all this other stuff. And, they got the latest video of him out wrestling with the girl, trying to get his phone from her. And all I see is a bunch of women in the comments talking about he should have just let her have the phone. But I don't understand that. Like, everybody is against us, and that's weird. Like, because even in your own community, you got women who only sticking with women based on gender, not thinking logically like, she should have it wasn't her phone. Give him the phone. If you don't want to be drug around the floor and done all, give the man his property. Listen, y'all, I'm not with that. So I know I'm going to get kicked back and people are going to respond to this thinking that it's a man versus woman thing. But that's only y'all who thinking like that because it ain't nothing but a bunch of women in the comments talking about he should have gave it a phone. It ain't her phone. Period. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all out here teaching y'all daughters to fight men, and then when they get hit back by a man, y'all mad at the man, but y'all teaching them to fight. It's crazy out here, man. We got to do better. And I hope y'all figure this out. But I'm not the one for that, y'all. I know. I get it. You know what I mean? No. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. She should have gave that man his phone. I don't care about the videos. The person who filmed it is foul too. We'll do anything to bring ourselves down. That's just the bar. But anyway, we got to switch gears because I got to bring my guest up. And we got to go into this because this is the thing that y'all all need to know. Because there's so many content creators out here who don't know the way. And even me, I still got questions and answers. No matter how long that I've been doing this, I'm still ready to learn. So we're going to do that. Let me get into these comments real quick. Mark, what's going on? And Darrell, you here. Happy to be here. Yeah, we happy to have you, man. So listen, let's bring you on up. All right, y'all, let's bring my guest up. Darrell, what's up?
Hey, how are you? I'm glad to be there. That was a lot of heavy stuff for the beginning of a podcast. I'm like, wow, we got to get into some serious stuff here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's heavy things going on out here, and I understand that. Being a content creator, man, you got to be able to touch things in a different way. You got to be able to, really get information out here and not just look for your own self and worried about how you're gonna look, right? But before we do all that, let's do this. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience and then let them know who you are and what you do and why you're on the platform?
Sure. I'm Darrell Stern. I'm the marketing Jedi. I've run a marketing agency for about 24 years. But before that, I was a kid actor. So if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, you might have heard of this thing called Schoolhouse Rock. So I was the voice of Scooter Computer on Schoolhouse Rock. So you can hear me singing when I was 11, on Disney Plus. And today I kind of threw all the theater away, but then when I put the theater into my marketing, that's when the business really took off. And one of my mottos is, if you used to do something as a kid, used to be a runner or used to play a trumpet or, you kind of threw that away, put that into your business because the thing that you really do the best should be your business. It should be the thing that really turns your soul on, not something that you're pretending to be.
Yeah, facts. I like that. And speaking of that, a lot of people, we talk about this on the platform a lot about that, right? Like learning your purpose, because some of us haven't, and being kids, people always, the adults around you always try to mold you and shape you into what they think you should do and be.
Mhm.
Not, a lot of kids don't get the opportunity to explore that and to understand exactly who they are. But the good thing about you is that you said something that was really important, and I think a lot of people should take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Is that remember who you were as a kid, right? And remember the things that you like to do, or you did used to love to do, because incorporating that love for that thing into your business should be able to translate. So talk to people a little bit about that part, because I think that's mindset. What do you think?
I always ask, what turns your soul on? And people get confused by that question. I go, like, what really has been satisfying in your life? Somewhere along the line, you have helped someone in some way. You could have taught someone how to swim. You could have taught someone how to, as a big business consultant, how to do something. And you're really gifted at it because it's been instilled in you. You have so much experience and all that. But it's funny how sometimes when we go make a business, we get in the suit and tie and we go over here and now I'm businessman Darrell and I do this, right? And I'm pretending to do something that I really don't know how to do, but that's what I've chosen to do as my business. When I say
Right.
that's also, find your purpose, I say that's a bunch of BS. Like I found my purpose the other day. I was in my sock drawer, in my dresser. I think that's BS. I think if you put out you and be yourself and be your honest self, the world will decide how to use you. And the more truer, the more true your stories are from your own life, the more other people will pick up on that, and they will see what you're gifted at, and they will give you opportunities that you didn't even know you were putting out there, and that can open up your life to all new kinds of stuff.
Right. So with that, because I never heard nobody say that part before, right? No, most people don't say that they feel like finding your purpose is not cool, or is BS. But I get
Well,
I
where do
get
you
the
find it?
perspective.
You know what I
I
mean? Like,
get
is it in my closet? Like, where do I find it? Is it in this soda can? Like,
no, no,
literally, the
no.
language doesn't
I
make any
I
sense.
think it's from the perspective though, right? Like from what you're
Yeah.
saying, like what you do, right? You do things and then people will tell you if it, resonates with them or if it affects them or whatever. And then there it go, right? So then sometimes that's how you find your purpose. So for example, there'll be a bunch of people who be like, yo, man, you really motivate, like the way that you speak about mindset, man, I really like that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I really understand it and that helped me. The next thing you know, boom, you got a podcast or you're a mindset coach, right? And people are coming to you, or but you didn't know that. You just thought that you were speaking the way that you feel about
Yeah.
yourself to other people. So
Mhm.
that's in the sense of how people find their purpose. But you saying that no, that's not it. You just be exactly who you are. Is that what I'm getting from you?
I mean, yeah, you be who you are. You tell the stories from your own life. You don't If you don't have clarity around, what your business service is, just be yourself and put yourself out there, and other people will decide how to use you. So let's get from a business perspective, right? I'm driving in my car. The car's got 2 miles left. The little light goes off. I'm running out of gas. Now, I better get to the gas station fast, or else I'm going to run out of gas. We know that the gas station is the only business that gets me out of the situation of running out of gas, right? We know that.
Right.
That's the business. So then I say about your business, what situations do you get people out of? Right. And then once
Yeah.
you know that and you say, well, I get young kids that are kind of lost and maybe they don't want to finish high school, and I get them to finish high school so they can go to college. That's the situation that I get them out of. They're in a situation where they don't have any support at home. Let's just say that that's a business. Well, then I'm going to make marketing that does two things: gives people hope that you can actually do that, right? And you make them a promise and you give them hope that you can help them with that. And the second is prove it. And you prove it by telling your stories from your own life where you got yourself through that situation, right? So this is it again, where the more true it is to your own life, the easier it is for you to run it as a business and sell it because it happened to you, rather than trying to make something up.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So when people, in the sense of that, like, so whenever a person comes to you and they tell you those things, do it make you feel more like you're trying to help people avoid the excuses in their life? Would you say that? Like when people come
Well,
to you
yeah.
about it, because some people say, yo, well, I got this idea, but man, I don't know because I don't this, or this is a great idea, but I don't have the money, or, there's always somebody who has an excuse of why they can't do something. Or do
Well,
you,
yeah.
go ahead, I'm listening.
YouTube is free, Instagram is free, TikTok is free. It's all free. You just have to just decide if you want to adopt that kind of digital marketing lifestyle, as you have your show every week. Da da da. You have a procedure. You put out the things. You're doing it, right? And you decided to make this your lifestyle. You don't do it for 3 weeks and then take 3 months off, right? You're doing it and
Right.
doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And in it, you have developed your own brand by the things you come on here and talk about, like you talked about at the top of the show. You're taking the top news stories that might have something to do with African Americans in America, and you're saying, look, this is a better perspective, or this is, or don't prejudge this, or stop acting this way. It's very poignant stuff. And that, because that's what you like to talk about, is becoming and has become your brand, right? Like if I want to
Right.
get commentary on what happened this week, right, in African American America, I'm going to tune into your show because you're going to go over the stories. You're going to tell me what's real and what's bullshit and what to believe in and what not, right? And now you're gaining the reputation for that, right? Which can lead to bigger and bigger things and public speaking opportunities and all these other kind of things. Then you had some morals about it, like don't prejudge. Now, the media is, if it bleeds, it leads, right? All they want to do is
Mhm.
get attention, get rankings, get sponsors. They just want to flash up stuff as soon as they're doing it so fast now. They don't even look at the scorecard, and they're telling you who won the game. You know what I mean? The elections, they're
Right.
telling you who won 15 minutes into the election. Nobody even voted yet. All this kind of stuff, because we're in this get the rating, to be the first to give the news out. And in that, we're losing the facts, we're losing culture, we're losing analytics and like discussions and all that kind of stuff. So it's great the way you are the counterpoint to that, coming out and saying, well, no, guys, hold off. Like, don't prejudge this person. We don't know what the autopsy said. We don't know, what the facts are here. Stop judging all of this and all these kind of stuff. And it's sad that the speed of the internet, the fact that I can post it, and I mean, you can see the Instagram post on the other side of the world in 3 seconds. That's almost too fast, because now we are reacting and we're not responding. What does that mean? Reacting is comments. We're just reacting. Responding is, wow, let me consider this. Let me think about this. How do I feel about this? But we're not doing that. We're not debating anymore. We're not doing that. We're just spewing stuff out. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. But we got to have enough cognitive dissonance to say, yeah, this is the world we're living in. So don't get all emotionally involved in that BS. I'll say it again.
Yeah. But I think that's smart though, right? Because, you know, emotions affect everything in life, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people are not in control of their emotions, they make decisions
Mhm.
that they either later regret, or they make decisions that wind up hurting them. Or, there's those people who make those decisions and things work out because they don't dwell on it so long, right? But either way it go, it's still a perspective in all three scenarios, right? And
Mhm.
that's what I think a lot of people should consider. Just like you, like when you tell people, listen, just be your authentic self. Why are you looking for your purpose? Your purpose will find you.
Mhm.
That's a perspective, right? Where there's other people who are looking for something. I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. Then that's another perspective. But either way it go, I like what you said about whenever it come down to you telling your own stories, like it's hard for you to make up something that you never been through. But we have so many people because of the internet putting out a bunch of stuff that's getting clicks and views about things they never done. Like if you go to college, the average college people go to, they learn business from a person who never owned a business, right? And that's the same concept that most people do on social media. They never done these businesses, but they got the information, and now they get on here and they make themselves sound like the expert,
Yeah.
and they do these things, and then they get a bunch of people that emotionally sign up for things, and then only for them to get the same regurgitated information that they could have got out there for free if they would have looked and
Yes.
did the research. So that's the mentality that I avoid whenever it comes down to people who say they do this thing at this level. No, if the first thing you come on, first of all, here's the thing about information. Uh, if you pay for the information in order for you to get the information,
Mhm.
then that means that the information wasn't really for you. You just bought it. Because a lot of times it's like what you said. When you being yourself and you doing things in a certain way, the energy and the reaction of the universe is going to be sent to you. You don't chase nothing, you attract everything. And that's the point. It's like even with me and you, how me and you met. It wasn't because I went out there and I looked for you. It was because of somebody else who I gave an opportunity to turn me on to you.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all a track. It's not chase. It's all a track. So even when me and you had our first conversation, it was just a conversation on Zoom. We didn't have no, we just had a conversation. It was still a track. It
Yeah.
wasn't me chasing. So that's the point I'm trying to make when it comes down to this. Whenever people do, because people take it personally when I speak this way, right? Because what they want to do is they want to be the expert. When I'm saying to them, I don't want to be the expert. I want to learn, but you can't charge me for something that is already out there because I already looked at it. Tell me
Yes.
what makes you unique. Well, how did it work for you? And that's why I like your story because that's what you said. You didn't say go out there and look at it. It's like what resonates to you from the person that you're getting the information from. That's what I like about how you give it up too.
Well, sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. So there's two different things that are getting smushed together that's getting people confused. One is digital marketing, and that's actually creating real influence, like putting out hundreds of YouTube channels and articles and like creating real influence and demonstrating and proving that you know your stuff. That's how took a local auto mechanic from 50 grand a month to 500 grand a month. We just did hundreds and hundreds of videos of him fixing the cars. He's not telling you he's a good mechanic. He's not telling you where his auto mechanicship is, and he's certainly not saying he's the best at it. He's just doing the work, so you can bear witness to him doing the work, so you can draw your own, conclusion. Now
Conclusion.
that's being blended with the funnel people and the meta ads people, and they're all calling the whole thing digital marketing when it's two separate things. Digital
Gotcha.
advertising, which is like a TV commercial or a promotion or an ad, is something that hits you, bam, so juicy and delicious that you got to click and you got to go, and they want to capture your email and they want to sign you up, right? Just like in a second. That's a totally different art form than creating real influence. Now, again, with cognitive dissonance, if you go sign up for one of these ads, you got to go do your research. You can see the domain name of what the email address that they're sending the invite to. You can go see if that's a real website. You can Google their name. You can go do your own background research. So I think that the problem is, as if you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting out, all these ads are coming up in your face, like grab this, you need this. People are now paying for AI clones of themselves and all this other stuff that doesn't make them any money. Or now your podcast is excellent, but a lot of people are just throwing stuff on YouTube. I loved what you said at the beginning, that a podcast is a radio show. I've always said this from the beginning. It was invented for the iPod. It's more for playing in your car and listening to it on a long drive than it is, because radio, I'll listen to an hour and a half, show. Video, I'm not going to video that. You got like a minute, and I'm either out or I'm in, and I'm not going to listen to 2 hours of two talking heads and all that kind of stuff. So give people hope and prove that you can do it. Now we can get into detail on how I did that, which is Google owns YouTube and it also owns Google search. So I said, well, why don't we just make him a whole lot of videos and articles and put together and interlink all the keywords to prove it. So if you Google something like Rolls Royce repair in Greenwood Village, Colorado, he's not just number one on Google. He's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we picked something that was so specific. And this is the other part of marketing. Be specific. Someone says, I'm the coolest DJ on earth. Okay, I guess. I mean, do you live near an ice cube? Is that what makes you cool? What's coolest about you? It doesn't make any sense. But if he actually started talking about the art of being a DJ and what he does and how he mixes the stuff and and demonstrates it and shows you and just plays it and plays the music and does it, well, then you can conclude, holy gosh, that's the coolest DJ ever. And that's the difference between, I think, as you're talking about, people who just come on and want to be somebody in the world. And they just want to make something up and make a business and make it and just do it really fast and then bang it together. And somebody who really takes the time to center themselves, have clarity, and really build their empire.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important part because you're right. People get caught in the marketing scheme of how it looks, right? Because when you
Yeah.
are an entrepreneur and you are, searching things, then the next thing you know, algorithms are taking what you're searching for and they just sending you a bunch of stuff at you just to see because advertisement is how they make their money, so they're easily going to suggest you based on things that you say and do or whatever, suggest these ads to you because that just keeps the person who paying for the ads to keep paying for ads, right? Which it recycles. So And you make a really great point about that. Like, you got to know the difference in what you're doing as an entrepreneur. Are you trying to be an influencer, and what you doing is showing that you are great at what you do, versus you being a person that just want to tell everybody what you do and then
Yeah,
get them to
exactly.
buy on to that.
Yeah. So a lot of marketing people think marketing is like this. Like, we're gonna make your marketing like this. Like, we're gonna put it in a blue bottle. It's gonna look like this. It's gonna have this blue stripe on it. We're gonna redo your podcast and make it look like that. And you'd say to the marketing person, "Okay, I don't know. Is that gonna make it any better? Like, what's the difference?" And there's
Right.
something to be said for the look of it and the rebranding. I love the look of your YouTube thumbnails. I love the look of the thing behind you, like the drop and all that kind of. I love all that. It's got personality to it. But what really, again, is the proof is actually listening to the show, right?
Exactly.
Like, that can get attention. You can certainly use that for hooks and stuff like that. But then it's the actual content in it that you worked really hard on a format, an intro, when you bring in the guest, how you're going to close the show and all this kind of stuff. And it's consistent over and over and over again. And again, then you're getting a theme and a reputation, which brings people back over and over and over again. And it's funny because marketing is repeating yourself. Now, you would think content creation, oh, I got to create something new. Next week, we're going to do a totally different kind of podcast. Next week, we're going to do it. No, you do the same thing over and over again, because that's why I keep watching the show. Now, back in the days of the Love Boat, Happy Days, The Price is Right, I Love Lucy, it was the same darn show every week. But that's why I wanted to come back, because that's what I wanted. I want the same
Yeah.
thing. I want to check in with you. So once you get this pattern in your presentation, it's not that you can't be creative and talk to different people every week or different topics, like you're covering the news every week. It's always a different story, but you always have the same kind of commentary on it. You're adding this lesson to it. You're adding this, hey guys, this is all of you listeners, this is what I want you to do. This is, don't just jump on the bandwagon with this. And every week you're saying something around that kind of theme. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to come back for. I want to come to you to make sense of it, make sense of this world, and make sense of all this crap that's coming out and all this prejudgment that's coming out. So
Yeah.
you're getting that reputation, and I'm going to tune in. I mean, this is, I've watched some of your shows before, but now I'm going to really tune in every week now, being on it and listening to you go with this, because I want this kind of show, right?
Yeah.
I want this kind of material. Now that can branch off. I would make you an online course now in what's called cognitive dissonance. That's being able to see all the media, but then step back and go, okay, where is this really coming from? Should I really be this upset about this? Why am I being so judgmental myself right away? What does it say about me that I'm jumping to the conclusion, being judgmental about this stuff that I'm seeing? What does that say about me, and how can I slow down and have more judgment? Now, in The Empire Strikes Back, there's one line. So I love all of Star Wars, but only recently did I remember this line that I totally forgot. And it's a line that I need to learn too, which is Yoda says to him in The Empire Strikes Back, he says, control, control, you must learn control. And what he's meaning is control over your fear, your anger, your rage, all this kind of
Your
stuff.
emotions.
Of course,
Yeah.
Anakin, who turns into Darth Vader, couldn't control. He had no control. He lost control over himself. But he tells that. And that's like the most important central thing to life, is to be able to control your emotional state, so you're not reacting, making these comments and all this stuff. And instead, you're just using cognitive dissonance, and you don't have to react. You just respond. You can just take it in. You can just listen. You might actually learn something and grow.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I think gets taken for granted, right? Because emotional intelligence is not something that most people are born with. It's all of us have to learn that, right? Because even with growing up as men, they tell us not to cry, get up, do this, not, all the things that they said is opposite for the women. So you don't really learn emotional intelligence as a kid. You learn how to hide your emotions, right? You learn how to put your emotions to the side and only show a different side of you, regardless of how you're feeling. And for some people, that has turned them into exactly what their emotions are. They always ready to react. They always ready to react. Barely seldom do they take the things that happen to them. It's because they've been holding it in so long. We hold on so many negative and then to the point where you can't take it no more. So now you're reacting
Yeah.
to everything because you
Well,
wasn't
also,
allowed to get
yeah,
them out.
but it also is purely the internet's fault. Now, in the 1800s to 1700s, I would write my dear love a letter. right? And I'd spend a lot of time with my calligraphy pen, and I'd write her this beautiful love letter, and I'd send it, and it would take 2 months for her to receive it. She
Right.
would read it, she would treasure it, she would think about it, she would feel about it, and then she would write her big long letter, and then 4 months after that, I would get the response. Right? Now it's
Right.
beep, beep. I got people WhatsApping me, texting me, blah blah blah, Facebook messaging me. It's too much. And then though, because we get the bling, bling, the message comes in, I got to read it. Right? I got to respond to it right now. Like, oh my God, I got to tell them what's going on right away. And you don't. Just leave it. You don't have to respond right away. Someone texted you. You don't have to, whatever. I tell people, pick up the phone and call me, because I'm not having a texting relationship, because you can't read into my modality or my mood from a text message. And when you do start reading that and you misinterpret it, that's when you lose relationships and stuff like that.
Facts.
So we got to adapt, and we got to adapt fast, and we're not adapting. We're not adapting to all the stimuli, media, and they know that, and they're using that to control us, upset us, make us scared, right? Cause all this crap. The reason why there's so much racism coming back, you're seeing the new, the white men marching with the bandana, whatever the hell they're doing, this crap.
The
reason why they're doing it is this. In 20 to 50 years, white people will be a minority in America, period, end of report. We will be. We will be a minority. There's more Latinos, Black people, all those other kind of people. We will be in a minority. There's two Americas. Obama said this. I'll repeat what he said. So there's two Americas. One is all men are created equal who are white Anglo-Saxon property owners, which means I own the land, I own the farm, right? That's America. And I own it, and I own that land, and I have the right to bear arms. I can defend it, and da da da. The other part is the more poetic, literal interpretation of we are all created equal. We, the people, built this country, which led to civil rights and DEI and and all this kind of stuff. But the problem is they're both there. And right now, the other side's winning. You understand? We had civil rights movement. Listen to me. We had the 60s. We had civil rights movement. We let gay marriage in. We got all this stuff. We pushed way over this way. And the other side, those farm owners from the 1700s, white, are pushing it back. And that's what you're seeing. Now, as a tool, they're using all kinds of bullshit. They're getting people riled up, and racism and and all this stuff. And when somebody's on, like you said, with this problem with the guy falling off the boat, he passed away or whatever, blowing the story up, a black man, blah, 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 whatever. All this kind of stuff. Deliberately do this so that then they can keep pushing back to the way it was in the 1800s, the 1950s, or segregation or whatever. And it's all out of fear, but it's all out of fear.
Yes.
Because the true people that understand that America is a melting pot, and it is for all of us, and it's going to be a mixture of people. I grew up in New Jersey.
Me too.
There were more Indians from India in my town than white people, than white kids. And in New York City, they go in there all the time. You would think that America is like all these colors and shapes and nationality. If you live in New York City, you see everybody. You grow up there, you think America is all this mixture of everything. But if you grow up in Oklahoma, where you never saw a black person in your entire life other than on sports or on TV, they can easily make you afraid of him.
Yeah.
Got it? And that's what's happening, is they're making people that just haven't had the exposure to it afraid of it and think, oh, New York City is hell and this and that and all this crap. But that the great example of this is FIFA. So all the people from all the countries are coming over to America. Now over there, they're told America is bad. These are the evil people. And they're coming over and they're having tacos and Cheetos and frozen ice cream treats. And they're looking at our grocery stores with 700 brands of, what is it, ranch dressing or whatever. And they're going, my God, this is paradise. They're loving it here. But that's not what they were told. So it's pause and say, do I really know that? Have I experienced that myself?
Right.
Or is this just being fed to me? What's being fed to me versus what, have I actually experienced? And that's called cognitive dissonance. It means distancing yourself and using your cognitive mind, right, to really look at it from the outside in. You can even, it's also a big deal in personal development. You're talking about mindset. I can observe myself. I can step back from me and say, wow, Darrell, why are you so angry today? What's triggering that? What's going on? And you got to check yourself. right? If you
Right.
don't, you're completely at the whim of whatever plan they have for us, which is probably not good.
Well, yeah, man, and I like that you said that, man, because it just it just makes conversation better when people can be on those opposite ends and still have dialogue where they could understand perspective and not make it a point of finger at the other person. Because along with the marketing that you were talking about before and with the AI, right? With the AI being like this, I mean, it's not new, but because people have been using Google and all these other things and maps and everything else, and I think people forget that that's artificial intelligence as well too, and they forget it, right? Because now, like you said, they talking about the cloning yourself and all these other things, and they found that, right? They found a way to play on your emotions, even with the AI, to bring up things that they know that makes people feel other than themselves. Because now you got AI clones of yourself that looks better than you, right? People are putting up all of these different photos and all these other things where it only resembles them, but it's not
It,
them. And that's the one of the things that I think is part of why I think emotional intelligence is important, because there are so many people who don't like themselves. And the reason why they don't like themselves is because they've been told that they are not good enough. Everything that they try, it don't come out the way that they want to. So for them to just look like something else or be something else other than what they really are is the game right now, right? Be something other than yourself. So you were going to say
well,
something
that's
too about,
especially a problem with women putting on, the
yeah,
photoshopping and this uber fitness now, where they look like they're so thin, they look like they're starving to death, and
yeah,
all kinds of weird stuff that can put a false impression. But again, like if you have a daughter, young kids, you got to sit them down and you got to say, look, this is show business. This is not real. These people are being made up to look this way. It's not a real example of what they really look like, right?
right,
Like Jennifer Aniston, she's on a new ad for some water, and she's 61 years old, and she looks like she's 23. She still looks like she does on Friends 30 years ago. She spent
right.
$1 million to look like that. God knows what kind of tummy tucks, foldovers, whatever, kind of
Right,
stuff, do that. Um, but that's her job. She's Jennifer Aniston. She'll do what she does. Um, what I say is, if you really want to get into business and you really want to grow your business, you got to focus first on the service that you're providing. What does that
right,
mean? A lot of people speak in too much generalities about their business. Well, I help people feel happy. That's not a business. Well, I help you people pull auras out of their abdomen, whatever. That's not a business. Or even, I fix all the cars. We fix all the cars. Well, that's not good either, because there's some cars that you fix better than others. You know that. And there's some things that you really suck at, and you know that. And the more that you get specific about it and really emphasize the things that you really do well, because otherwise you're going to start to mess up, because you're going to take on
right,
too many work from too many people. You're going to botch it up. You're going to get bad reviews, and it's going to show. So,
right,
so what I say is too, you have to understand something called philosophy. Now, my dad was a philosophy professor. So I said, well, if there's indexes in the back of a book and Google is indexing all the websites, I've got to create an index of everything on the internet, blogs and articles, and an index of you talking about your topic over and over and over again, and interlink it together and optimize it heavily, so that then they'll pick up that you have the strongest index on that topic. So I don't care if you're a doctor or you're a builder or you're a welder or whatever. You want to show as many videos of you doing the best work that you can do as possible, and then write articles about it too at the same time, and show off your very best, your very best self and your very best work. But then optimize. This is the other thing, that you make the content. So you're talking about content creator. Oh, I made more content today. Throwing stuff up all over the place, rather than saying, look, who do I really want to attract and what precise videos can I do? That's how we made that Jeep Death Wobble. So I wanted the auto mechanic to go viral, right? I wanted to make millions of dollars off of one video. So we did some research. We live in Denver at the time. Denver, a lot of people drive Jeeps because of off-road driving. I talked to some Jeep owners. They said Jeep has a problem called the death wobble, where the wheels wobble and you can go off the road and die. So I looked that up on YouTube, and there's videos from mechanics all over the country with 200,000 views, 400,000 views, 600,000 views. I said, this is great. The problem is viral. So here's another thing, right? what viral problem do you solve? Because
Right.
you go out there thinking, well, I turn soda cans upside down. That's what I do best. It's like, well, no, well, who the hell needs that?
Right.
But you're all over there doing that, and you got no hits, and nobody's interested in it. And they're like, why? It's so cool. I turned water bottles upside down. And it's like, well, no one's hiring you. No one's hiring that right now.
Right.
I'm laughing. So we had him do a video. We can fix the Jeep death wobble with a lifetime guarantee in Denver. That's the title of the video. Bam. That's it. So that video now has 200,000 views, and it has made him $7.9 million
Right.
in sales. And it's just a video. It's just a video on YouTube. It's not boosted. It's not advertising or anything. But it's about something so specific, and it's about a popular problem. This is where strategy, content, we're making content, but then we go strategy, and then we go even more strategy, and then we get even smarter with the strategy, and that's how the money grows, right? Is when we add strategy over it. So I'm gonna take on your YouTube channel. Can I take on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right. So listen to this. Title of your YouTube video says Convo Corner. I've never heard of that, and they're gonna search for it. Second thing it says is EP11. I guess that means episode 11, but okay. And then it says Elaine Martin. Okay, I don't know who that is. So here's how I would title it. I would listen to that episode. I would see what Elaine Martin has said in it that was profound or that teached a lesson or something like that. So let's say that he welds boats. Let's make something up. He does welding for boats. So I would say the very best way to weld boats with Elaine Martin. That's the title of the video. Then anybody looking up, I want to weld a boat better, which is a thing that Elaine does, I would find the episode of your podcast. So your podcast would grow indirectly by people searching for the content in the podcast.
Right.
Got it? Rather than just naming it you can put that up. You can put it on the podcast with that title, into iTunes and all that. That's fine because it's the podcast. But when you go to YouTube, YouTube is a search engine. Meaning that everybody's searching on it. It's the second most popular search engine in the world. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I fix that? So if you took the very best of the content of the person and changed it into a how-to question, the views of the video, forget the podcast, just the views of the video version would go up. So again, switch the platform. You were right at the beginning. Get the podcast listeners to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, period. The rest of it, though, if you're going to put it on YouTube, then learn YouTube. Because it's a whole different animal. It does a whole different thing. It has a whole different purpose. That's strategy on top of just making the content and all that stuff.
Right. I like that. And I appreciate that too, because, a lot of times, that's the best thing to do whenever you're in this game is to continuously be open to learning. Don't just think that you got all the answers, no matter how long you've been doing it. And yeah, man, that's why I'm always a sponge, right? Because once I get the information, I just follow it. Because look, man, there's very few people in the world that can prove what they do, right? Outside of showing you. And then there's those that can show you what they do based on things that they've done for other people. That's a whole nother gift, right? To be a person that can see a problem and find a solution versus people who look at everything as a problem and that's all they see is the problem. Well, one thing about the way your mind works is that you see the solution. And that's a really, really fine gift to have, man, to see the solutions of problems. Because that's what you do, Darrell. You see the problem. Like you see the solution and the problem at the same time. You don't just see the problem and then let the problem affect you. People see the problem and then emotionally your problem affects them. They don't see the answer to it, right? So that's a great gift to have.
Tony Robbins says we're addicted to our problems. Everything's a problem when there are no problems. Also, in work and in life, if you're working for the boss, right, and all you do is come in there and talk about the problems, CEO doesn't want to hear it. He wants you to come to him with solutions. Right?
I like that.
Come up with the solution. Be the person that solves it. But again, going back to fear and mindset, the reason why we have so many problems is just because we're afraid to open it up, take that risk, and just do it, and then live our lives. And maybe that came from something from childhood. Maybe we were bullied. Who knows? Go to therapy. Figure it out. Like that's it. Like I can't do that for you. I'm not a therapist. But that is carrying over into then you always saying. So I had a yoga teacher that I was working with over COVID. And every conversation, she would say, 4 words. She'd say, but the problem is, over and over again. I would do that, but the problem is, and I said, there's no problem. Stop saying that word. Stop using the word problem at all. My dad used to say, eliminate this word from your vocabulary. One is problems. Another one is but. Well, I was going to do that, blah, 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 but I can't. Blah, 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 blah. Just eliminate that. Just say,
eliminate it all. Yo, so listen, this is what I want to do, man, because I think people that's watching and people who are going to watch the playback, they're going to want more information. I know that me and you have a webinar coming up, but now that I think about it after this conversation, I may want to, push it back a little bit, give it a little bit more time, because I think between me and you, we talked about the best way to go about it, right? Which is new to me because I've never done a webinar before on that level. So I want to set it up the right way. And so I think we're going to push it back. It was for July 21st, which will be 2 weeks from now. But now I think we're going to push it back a little bit because I want to do it the right way to get the people involved and make sure that it's done correctly. And I appreciate you, telling me about it. Like, because we talked through email and stuff like that. And, you told me, hey, man, this could be the issue of why this, that, and the third. And, I can't take it personal because you're the expert and then you have proof of what you've done, right? So that's the thing. Sometimes being quick to do something versus being ready to do something is two different things. So I want to be ready, not quick, right? Yeah. So I appreciate that. So what can people do, right? So the people that's watching and all that, if they want to get in contact with you before we do this, how can they do so?
Sure. I'll be going to even say my phone number because you can text me. And you can text me the word ready. My phone number is 720-301-5525. It's a Colorado number, 720-301-5525. And then on Instagram, I'm Marketing Jedi 71. So marketing, I'm the Jedi of marketing, and then the year I was born, 71. So you can follow me on there. You can comment on anything, DM me on there and all that kind of stuff. And I'm all over the place. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me all over the place. So my name, though, as you can see on the screen, if you can't and you're listening, is DARRELL. It's the French spelling. And then Stern, like the back of a boat, no relation to Howard, STERN. So you can look me up anywhere, Google me, whatever. You'll find me. I'm around.
Gotcha. And so listen, to all of y'all that's watching, man, and to all of y'all that's going to watch the playback, I want y'all to understand that, there are different ways for us to handle this so-called new technology revolution that's coming up. The one thing that I want y'all to get out of this, if y'all reach out to Darrell and y'all want to talk to him before we do the webinar, to understand that, there's a way. We know that AI is being utilized, but we know that people are not utilizing it the right way. But then there are those things that you do have to do manually. And then once you get that down and be able to do it repetitiously, it'll help boost your brand. And I think that's the part that's missing. So for all of y'all, remember, Darrell is here. He has different ways that you guys can get the information. So, and just be willing to invest in yourself. And I think that's what I want all of y'all to do. Conversations like this is how we get to people understanding what they should learn and who they should learn from. Darrell will be quick to let y'all know, and he'll show y'all his testimonials. He'll show y'all any of the things that help prove that he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to digital marketing. It's not just a guy who's out here promoting himself, pushing funnels, and have a whole bunch of videos out here saying, hey, come join my course, come join my class. That's not what he does, because everybody that he does things with, they are the proof. Darrell doesn't. He's not the guy that's running around here trying to be that person that looks like he does it. He's the person that does it, and that's the type of person you guys want to be connected with, because we all know there's a lot of people out here who like to build things off of influence. This guy likes to build things off of knowledge and solving problems. So I hope that all of y'all that watch tonight will take advantage of either contacting him personally, or whenever we put this out there about the webinar, you guys be there and be on the live, right? And be able to ask questions. You'll be able to type in the chat and ask questions, any type of question you want, and he'll be able to give you that. And then from there, if you guys want to go further and get more personal and have him really directly help you, then that's another thing. And just be sure that you understand that that part is your investment. It's going to come back. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself. So remember this, y'all. I tell y'all this each and every week that we're going to be here all the time trying to give y'all the right information and also making sure that you guys know what the real plays is, because we all need to understand what next level is, right? So y'all know the vibes. Be here next week. Be here and understand that it's going to go down like this every time. So until then, remember, y'all, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. But Darryl, don't hang up yet. We're going to talk a little bit offline. But the rest of y'all, peace. All right?
Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah.